And generic intro, everybody, Kerbal Space Program. So we're going to be playing this. I'm actually going to do Sandbox. This is Silvered Soul. Use my Steam name. My flag. What should we pick? Orbit. Orbit looks good. So this game's been out for a while. I think it's still in early access or something like that. But yeah, basically, if you haven't seen this game for some reason, you are a race of these dudes called Kerbals, who haven't even bothered exploring their entire planet. They are more interested in space. So, funnily enough, the first thing that I'm going to do is send up a satellite. Just because, I mean, this is the first time I've ever attempted a launch, you know, in story-wise. So I don't think the first thing I want to try and do is put a person up into space. Is that the one that I'm after? I don't think so. I think I want that one. No, that one. No, that's the huge one. Okay. We will go with a utility. Is it you? No. You. No. You. There we go. Third time's always the charm, guys. Okay, so I want 2 batteries. So, for those of you that haven't seen this game before, you probably have no clue what I'm doing. So basically, these 2 things here, I know for everyone like who's probably raging right now, like, why do you have the 2 of them? You don't need 2 of them. Oh my god, what are you doing? Basically, I liked the look of having the 2 of them. I don't know, that's just something I find odd about a big sphere attached directly onto this plate. I don't need any of that. Actually, it's probably under utility. Nope. Science. Right. Science. I haven't played this in a while. Oh no, it's slightly off center. Oh well. I don't know if I actually need any of these, but I'm gonna shove them all on just because, you know, why not? I'd actually like to use that one. I'd love to know what temperature space gets to. Nope. Don't need that. Okay, so that's basically the probe that's going to be in space for the most of it. No, that's not the one that I want. That's the giant one. So I'm actually going to use this. Oh, not that one. Not that one. That one. Yeah, let's chuck a main cell on. No. It's another huge one. Oh. Mine? Yep, so we want that one to go, then that to decouple, and that one to go, and then that last one to decouple. Nope, wrong one. It's that one. Yeah, knowing my luck on my first attempt, this is probably not going to work, but usually I actually do manage it on my first attempt. So... no. That's the mistake that I had happen the last time I was screwing around with this game, just, you know, having to play around. Yeah, no, that should definitely make it into orbit. I'd be a bit worried if it didn't. You know what, for aerodynamics will be fun and put some fins on, even though they'll probably just screw us up in the end. We'll name it. Let's go with... Sat1. Mission flag. And we'll launch Sat1. Hopefully I haven't missed anything. Sometimes I do, unfortunately, miss things. Focus is on Sat1. Oh, that was worrying. Okay, so turn SAS on. We will throttle up. And... so basically what I'm doing now is, like, in layman's terms, it's called a gravity tone. How to explain it without, like, you know, my science and physics being completely wrong. I'm using Earth's gravity to make this move faster. Unfortunately, I'm using way too much fuel. Alrighty, so everyone might be wondering why I just cut my vertical velocity, but basically, yeah, that's over 70,000 now, so I might move up a little bit because I'm going to slow down because I'm still in atmosphere. But that, okay, yeah. And that should just simply increase. There we go, that's almost it. You know, that's a pretty circular orbit. I mean, like, that's not perfectly circular, but that's not bad. And it's above atmosphere, so I'm not complaining. So yeah, let's have a look. I don't know if it's something just about these canisters with that engine, but anytime that I use these, like in this setup, this is my standard rocket setup just to get an orbit around Kerbin, I always seem to be left with like almost half a tank of fuel, so like one of these left. I mean, like, there you go, like, that's still a substantial amount missing, but considering that's a perfect orbit, and I mean, and I only brought, what, 10 of these canisters, so 8 on the 4 modules that popped off, and these 2. I'd say that's pretty good to have already achieved, you know, orbit. And I always feel really bad when I go to disconnect these, because I'm like, no, look, all of that fuel that it's just gonna, you know, float through space, that's super lame. But since this is just, you know, a first video, and I'm showing you guys how to achieve a basic orbit in sandbox mode, I'd guess I will get rid of it. A nice spin just to make sure it all disconnects. That should, from the looks of it, it hasn't actually got its own icon yet, but it should either just float through space or possibly slow down. I don't know. I don't think so. It will slow down. I think it should stay like that, given that we're in a zero-G environment. But perhaps after a long amount of time, and given the fact that I gave it some form of velocity by spinning, and it's getting further away from me, it may eventually fall into the atmosphere and probably explode from the heat. Now the tiny one that's on there I might keep, just so that in future, at some point, I might require it. It is on, so like if I hold shift and increase this, that engine will turn on. But this is a satellite, so let's turn on our solar panels and extend our communicator. So I mean, a lot of people think that looks a little bit strange, but you know, whatever, I don't care what you think. I really like it, so. And I mean, even though I know most of these aren't used for this, so, I mean, seismic data, we're not on a planet. Barometer, I don't recall from physics what that is. Graveloid, there you go, so negative 7.66 meters per second per second. Keep data. It's actually interesting, there you go, that's how much gravity we're in. Toggle display. What? Ah. Negative 162 Celsius. I hope that's in Celsius. If that's in Fahrenheit, I would be very disappointed. We'll log that. Not that it does anything, you know, in this mode, but we'll log that, and we will transmit data to Kerbal. As you guys can see, the electric charge is going down as I am using electricity. That information has been sent, and that should collapse. I actually want that extended, because, I mean, it's a communications satellite as far as I'm concerned. And as you can see, our electric charge went back up because of these lovely solar panels. And there is the sun. Sun exposure is 0.99. So I'm actually almost perfect. I don't know if I could fix that. No, that actually made it worse. That made it less. There you go. So 0.99 out of 1. And that tells us how much energy, I think, per second we're getting from them. So yeah, I will just let that circle the planet. As you can see, the electric charge goes down as it's on the dark side of the planet and gets no light from the sun, and then immediately goes back up. So that's a successful satellite launch. Yeah, obviously you can see that it's moving. It's basically because as it's circling the planet, it's changing. I don't actually believe that it's facing any odd direction. I mean, you know, it's locked, it's stationary, so SAS is on. I would say that's actually what's draining power. No? Okay, just the fact that it's an unmanned probe then. So yeah guys, I don't know much about this game. Basically everything that I know is from standard grade 12 physics. You know, explaining, there's my junk, my debris, Sat-1 debris. Basically everything I know is from just, yeah, grade 12 physics, and knowing what a gravity turn is. So there's a few notes for first-timers to point out, just in case, you know, anyone who's a first-timer ever watches these. This is your periapsis and your apoapsis, right? These are the points that it's at its lowest and highest. A standard rule for, I guess, I don't know what, I can't actually recall the proper term, astronomy, astrology, you know, space science, is that if you want to affect your orbit to a greater extent, you want to do it as close to the apoapsis or the periapsis as possible, right? So if I tried to accelerate up here to, you know, make this an oval, it would work a lot less than if I did it down here. Alright, now, from memory, I can't recall exactly why that is, okay, and, you know, I know there is a reason, I just don't recall what it is, and, you know, if you want to know what it is, go Wikipedia it, you know, go look it up. There is actually a justified reason as to why. But, you know, honestly, I don't care. I'm actually really happy with that orbit. It's a, I'm circling basically the north, from pole to pole, north to south, south to north. So that as the planet spins, my satellite is actually going to cover, well, 100% of the planet's surface. I guess if you counted me doing, like, rotating around this planet, an infinite number of times, I would observe everywhere once. So basically, if you want to ever weaponize a satellite, that's what you do. Shh, don't tell anyone. But yeah, guys, so basically, we're just going to leave him up there. Press X just to make sure that that is off, and we will go back to the Space Center. Just leave that satellite to orbit. So yeah, I just might end that as a starting video to show you guys that I'm competent at playing this game. That was actually my first attempt and my first recording, as with some other games where it's not. But yeah, basically that's it. Welcome to Kerbal Space Program, and let's hope in future we can get, you know, out there somewhere. Alrighty, we might aim for the Mun or the Moon next, whichever you prefer to call it. Anyway, guys, we might end this with a generic farewell.